everyone, thank you for coming back to another Kucho video. In my previous video, I talked about how using the wrist of your left hand is very important for pivoting and turning the Kucho. And as you notice, you want to be able to turn the Kucho so that it stays on its axis. You don't want it to lean one way or another. So effectively turning the Kucho by using your wrist is a very important part of playing Kucho, so that you can turn the instrument so that it touches the correct string to the bow, and that's how you play. We don't move the bow like this. When you play, the movement of the bow should stay horizontal and it doesn't move. I'm not moving it forward or backwards in order to touch the string. That's what the purpose of pivoting the Kucho is for, so that you pivot the Kucho so that it can touch the appropriate string. So if you notice, the ideal performance is to keep the bow horizontal and on a flat plane, and for the Kucho to stay perfectly vertical and you spin it on its axis without leaning it too much one way or the other. Now today I wanted to talk about how to use the bow, and like I said, you want to try to keep it as horizontal and plane on a plane as possible. And the way I was taught to execute this is by using the wrist of your right hand. So you're simultaneously using the wrists of both hands in order to play this instrument. So it does take some coordination, but once you get used to the movement, once you get used to the movement, it's just a natural part of playing the instrument. How I am able to keep the bow horizontal is by using my wrist to push, pull the bow. And if you notice, I'm not holding the bow at this point. So my natural finger movement is to stretch and then pull, and then stretch and then flex and stretch and flex and stretch and flex. So that kind of naturally moves with the bow as well too, and that's what helps to keep a hopefully very continuous sound. So with the extension and the flexing and with the push and pull of my wrist, as well as the simultaneous extension and bending of my fingers, I'm able to move the bow in a way so that there is a relatively continuous sound. So in Okinawan music, you have the sunshing, which is a percussive plucked instrument, and then you have the koto, which is also somewhat percussive because that's plucked too, and then you have the taiko or the drums, which you hit with mallets. All of those instruments, the sound or the vibration of the sound cuts really quickly. Once you pluck it, the string or the drum doesn't vibrate for very long before the sound just kind of trails off. And then you have the flute, which the person blows into. So there's a pretty continuous sound there until the person has to take a breath, and then that's when the sound cuts off. Kucho is really the only instrument that has the capacity to make such a continuous sound. And when you play Kucho, there shouldn't be a really significant or extended gap in the sound. So when you play Kucho, this snapping and the flexing of your wrist, the use of your wrist, is really essential in maintaining a continuous sound for the instrument. So I know I'm wearing my keikogi, so it is relatively hard to see my wrist. But what I wanted, I'll fold it up like this. Let's fold it up so that I can show the movement of my wrist. But I want to play today Nubui Kuduchi, so that you can get to see the movement of my wrist, which helps to maintain the horizontal motion of my bow. Okay? Nubui Kuduchi.